Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to WCS Winter Americas. We're moving into our next match. It's going to be the lower bracket match. My name is Fear Dragon. I am joined by Nathanius, and we finally got two Americans going to be playing. By Americans, I mean one guy that just got his American citizenship about a few weeks ago, originally from Kazakhstan, PiLiPiLi.
Nice, that's the dream.
Facing off versus Epic, who just lost that last series. But Nate, I want to ask you something.
Talk to me, boss.
When I know you play Terran, you of course have to deal with those pesky baneling busts and stuff, but there's one kind of redeeming factor, right?
I don't do a baneling bust for me.
Huh?
No one baneling.
No one baneling busts you?
It's roaches, man.
Oh, that's true, because you make battle.
I'm a mech player. Banelings don't do anything.
Okay, well, I'm sure you can still appreciate in your co-op games that there are some really cool baneling skins out there, but even the baneling nest needs a little bit of love.
My plan was just to derail the entire segment. Oh, baneling nests are great. They're grand. They're wonderful.
You can't derail this segment, man. Rail already made it out of his group. Rail's already winning.
I was going with
no
brakes on this Bane train.
Oh, okay.
That's all I got.
I derailed you, in fact. Well, there you go, guys. If you guys want to get the war chest, you can unlock this awesome mechanical baneling skin. Looks pretty sick.
Yep, the baneling nest skin. That's the simulant one. If you look at it very closely, there's, I think in the description of it, they had to create like a mesh thing to get it to kind of levitate without falling. There's like a whole, they explain. If you get any of these skins, by the way, if you mouse over it when you're looking in the collections tab, there's an explanation for all of them. I think one of them, they were like,
for everything.
We had a tough time, like the Simulant project developers had a tough time making the spire sway properly without falling over because they don't know how Zerg gas has held it up. I'm like, well, I'm sure glad they let us know about that.
Yeah. Well, our next series, as mentioned before, is going to be PiLiPiLi facing off versus Epic. It's going to be a Protoss versus Terran, so unfortunately no baneling skins in this one so far, but it should still be a fun one. Let's jump and introduce the players.
Yeah. In the top left, spawning as the blue Terran player, he is Epic.
Top 8 at Cheesadelphia.
Yeah.
And starting down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map is the red Protoss player from Kazakhstan. He is PiLiPiLi.
Yep.
Jeff demanded that I tell people or explain to him about the bodybuilding stuff that PiLiPiLi has been doing. So,
oh, I thought he was going to say the Dr. Pavel reference.
Oh, I mean,
did you get that one?
Dr. Pavel?
Yes.
I don't know who Dr. Pavel is, but
the guy that they kidnap on the plane. It's the guy that Bane wants. No?
Oh, and Batman.
Nobody's with me on
That's
this.
a really obscure reference.
I don't know why. When I heard Pavel, I'm just like, yes, I went straight to that guy.
That is such an obscure reference, though. That's
really
like,
not.
That's like if you're in a Batman
I've watched that
movie.
opening scene on the plane and it remixed about 5,000 times.
That's like if you're in a Batman movie and you're like, oh, yeah, the person in the background, he had his name on his Starbucks cup and his name was Jeffrey.
They couldn't have held the city hostage without his nuclear expertise. I don't understand.
I
remember the scene.
I don't remember who the name was. Okay.
Scientists just never get any recognition.
Let's talk about the memes that are happening over here. So Pili is a guy who has been getting back into StarCraft for the past maybe a month and a half. But it has been a bit of a break, and you know what? Pili he's one of those players that I think really still does have some good micro. Still playing a lot of games, not necessarily StarCraft, but he's kept up that micro, and he's looking to try and put on that aggression with a proxy gate, build some stalkers, and of course, Epic thinks that he's delaying this Nexus right now. No, there's no Nexus.
He's not. He's not delaying the Nexus.
No. Gives a good impression that he is, though.
Look at that. He's like, I'm going to build a bunker in your face because I'm going to show you that I'm not afraid of you.
Okay, well, that's an aggressive pylon. I guess he realizes that the Reaper is on the other side of the map, and because there's a reactor, there's no Marines coming. But I don't know what that pylon actually does.
Yeah, these builds are a little bit interesting, right? Because the follow-up stalkers come much faster, right? Approximately 14 seconds faster with the change. So you can put on a lot of pressure. I think the bunker is a brilliant play. SCVs can repair. The Reaper is going to be there to poke. I think you possibly sack an SCV or two. Don't let the Protoss into your base, build the Marines, and you're fine. Really good snap decision-making from Epic to throw that bunker down immediately, though, because these are the types of pressure builds that did get stronger with that last patch, especially the follow-ups that we were talking about. Losing that depot will hurt. But running past that is almost suicide because the Marines in an SCV pool will kill everything.
Yeah, you might get some damage done, but you will lose everything. And knowing that there is going to be that factory that was already finished up, because that's what the probe scouted, and I guess the pylon that got canceled, you know that you're going to either have a Cyclone or a Siege Tank coming out as well. So I think PiLiPiLi is in a not-so-great spot after that opening. He did force a bunker, but the command center's been finished up for a while. It's going to have the opportunity. Well, he's not actually making 2 SCVs at a time right now, but there we go. Now starting to back up.
Yep, and he's just poking for vision up there. He does have the option to try and reinforce this point.
Goodbye.
He could power up, but there you go. Cyclone is also going to be fantastic at bullying those Protoss units away. Although, of course, one Cyclone won't do it. Generally speaking, for the Terran, it is the tank in this scenario.
Okay, so in the lobby, I called PiLiPiLi Potato because that's what all of his subscriber emotes are, and he likes being called a potato. And he told me he was going to go blink DTs for me.
Okay.
And I thought he was memeing, but I think he's not anymore.
Maybe he could. I feel like you have to do it with the charge build, though. Right? Don't you?
You're asking the wrong person about this because I don't do it with the charge build. I do it into a base trade with just pure Blink Dark Templars. I don't know how he's going to do it because he's a more intelligent person than me.
You have broke the logic processing part of my brain, so I've got nothing there. Tank blows one of those stalkers to pieces. Unfortunately, the Raven is really good against Blink DT because Dark Templar cannot swipe their blades up to the skies. Did you know that, Fear Dragon?
So here's the weird thing about Ravens, and I say this with a big caveat that I think that PiLiPiLi went for this aggressive opening that didn't work out, so he is a bit behind already. But in an evened up game or situation, you can go for a decent, like 6 or 7 Blink DTs, and because the Terran player goes to the Raven, they have permanent detection, but then they actually have fewer units to kill your DTs with. So it oddly still works out okay, just because you can kill Marines that don't have combat shields with 1 hit. It's like these weird math number things that work out.
Yeah, that one Dark Templar really got through so few units, Fear Dragon.
I am quite happy that he is not going for Blink.
I will ask you a question, and I'm curious to see if you knew this fun fact that I also knew, Fear Dragon. Did you know that if 2 High Templar or Dark Templar or whatever attempt to merge, and you hit the merging Archon ball with an interference matrix, it will delay the merge?
That I did not know.
You can extend it, so the Archon will just sit there as a ball of nothing. It can't move, it can't do anything, and it won't finish. The progress bar freezes wherever it gets stuck.
That's pretty useful. That's a pretty cool fact. I have a useless one. Did you know that Dark Templars have a minimum blink distance? If you try and blink point blank range, your Dark Templar will have a giant cancel button in front of it. You can't do it.
Yeah. Did you know that that's based off of the change they made to the Viking AI so that they couldn't patrol on the same hex that they were on?
Really? I actually had no idea about that. Well, you can blink stalkers at point blank range.
DTs are just too cool, man.
Right. Of course, PiLiPiLi went for an opening, didn't work with the gateway aggression, the proxy gate. The Dark Templar getting completely shut down. He's not going into Blink DTs, which I think is probably for the best in this situation. And the Warp Prism is going to try and get something done with another DT, just try and see some map control, but PiLiPiLi is in a really tough spot right now.
Yeah, that's tough. Okay, next question. Did you know that Cyclones with lock-on deal double damage to Colossi?
Yeah, because they're air units.
They count as air and ground at the same time. Yeah. Nobody ever built Cyclones. It's never been touched.
What do you mean nobody built Cyclone? Whoa!
Well,
fake out third? Wait. Did he just accidentally cancel his third base halfway done?
That's an interesting strategy.
I'm going to take a seat.
Yeah. Well, if you're the Terran, now you feel very comfortable.
I love that Epic also scanned that third base as soon as the cancel happened, so he knew that it was canceled.
He scanned the other third now, too. He's like, I'm just making sure.
It's like, what are you doing right now?
What is going on right now?
Now, I say that Epic is super far ahead. And of course, it is 2 bases versus 2 bases, but Epic has his third base. He's building up this army. He's gotten up stim and combat shields. He's gotten up all the tools.
Oh, Terran's very happy right now.
Yeah, he should be very happy. It's just a little bit funny because at the same time, when does he actually make the push out? Because PiLiPiLi is one of those very, very deceitful players that if you just kind of give him space, to come back and take 25 risks and let all 25 of those risks pay off, he will actually come back in the game.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried that Epic won't actually push out.
I think you're just describing NA ladder games right there, actually.
Yeah. That's how Kelazor described NA ladder versus Korean ladder. Yeah. Is that Korean ladder, you actually get punished for the risks you take.
And NA, it's like when you're behind, you double down, and then you come back and win because of it. Because
100%.
your opponent's like, well, I don't want to throw away the game.
Yeah. I mean, he has just been chrono boosting out Immortals and getting up Archons with the Dark Templars.
Play. He's got a Marauder that he intentionally let get blocked pathing-wise so that it could slow down the DT so that the Siege Tank would not friendly fire the Warriors. 300 IQ.
Beautiful. Stalker's buying some time. The Zealots do have charge. They do actually have charge.
Yes, they
do. He has also the pylon over here. Can do another fast warp and actually gets just a couple more Stalkers. The Widow Mines are going to cause some problems, but here we go. Trying to use Hallucinating Phoenix to set off the Widow Mines, but none of them burrow.
What a beautiful Dorito cannon. This is really big, too, because, you know, fun fact, Widow Mines will not target revealed hallucinations if you have them revealed.
I did not know that. Yeah. That's a really good fact to know.
Yeah, but the -3 shields from Dorito Cannon is really big. It is so much better versus Protoss units than it used to be. So for the length of that fight, it's really nice, especially when you're trying to get through Zealots, because originally it only affected the armor. Now it affects the shields, at the expense, of course, of doing any damage. But once you get through the Zealots, this Marauder force will even kill the Immortals without too much trouble.
Yeah, I mean, the Immortals have already lost their shields, they've lost their hardened shields, and now they're going to be losing their lives. As the third base is starting to go down, the probes are starting to fall over here. Last Immortal gets target fired down, and then Epic is effectively double the supply.
The Mines of Widow will destroy the Zealots.
Yeah.
Never got rid of that proxy racks, or proxy gate, but it doesn't matter.
One DT looking for damage and does not find any. Bit unfortunate, but GG. Epic takes the game.
Well played by him. I mean, he just handled everything. PiLiPiLi seemed like he was just kind of throwing everything against a wall, seeing what stuck, and nothing did. He put on like one of those like weather vane things, the coats, right? That just, what is it? Hydrophobic cover. There you go. It's great.
Doesn't matter.
Hydrophobic, oleophobic, easy.
Nothing he was doing was really working out, and I don't blame him for doing it, because that is, like we were saying, how you can oftentimes win versus a lot of these other players. You keep doing things, and eventually one or two of them works, and it works well enough that you actually just win the game from there, but that didn't quite happen. Epic was, like you said, prepared for everything.
Proxy gate, DTs, charge on Immortal Archon, no.
This is how I played Brood War versus Zombie Grub. Didn't work out there either.
No. The thing is, the Zealots just moved faster. They didn't actually charge. They didn't have enough passion back in Brood War.
Well, no, they didn't do the damage on charge, but they moved faster the entire time. You might say that their passion never died.
I'm just going to agree to disagree.
Okay. Game number 2 is going to be loading on up. I do think that PiLi has a chance of still doing something here, but I still give a lot of favoritism to Epic. I do think he's just been
Epic looks really good here. PiLi had a pretty weak showing against Scarlet, and based on that game, I'm not feeling particularly crazy about him. Epic's build was just smart, though. You know, the one way that does go really bad for Terran, and this is something that Terran players have been very vocal about, is if you do build a command center on the low ground, then yes, that build is nigh impossible to really protect the natural, because those Stalkers do show up so fast, and the follow-up warping can be really quick. But you build the command center on the high ground with the bunker, it's like, nope, that's it. Right? Because otherwise you have to have a bunch of SCVs hug the bunker to repair it. The Protoss player is just going to keep pulling back the weakened Stalker with shields, and it turns your life into a living nightmare. But really, I mean, Epic, he played it a little bit safe, and it
worked well.
Great play. Great play out of Epic.
Absolutely. Bit of a tough road here. The funny thing is, I think PiLiPiLi, I say this, and I only say this because I consider myself friends with PiLiPiLi, so you won't mind me saying this. I don't know if he considers me friends. I consider him a friend.
Right. I think he controls my friend, but I don't think he thinks I'm his friend. You know what I mean?
It's always a little bit dicey with that one. PiLiPiLi is one of those players, and I did a massively long interview with him for a documentary that I've been working on like NA players. Did a 3-hour interview, and the big summary of the interview was that he said he wants to just become above average in everything he does. I think he's just content with that.
That's statistically impossible, though.
Well, anything that he really commits himself to. And once he gets to be above average, he just wants to kind of say, like, okay, cool, I did that. And he's one of these players that I actually think will just
Does he realize that hitting Platinum League puts him above average?
I think his average is like a little bit higher.
I think Gold 1 is above average.
Is Gold 1 above? I think Platinum 1 or Platinum 3 is, right? Or,
No, well, Gold is meant to be the median, right? For the entire bell curve of MMR.
I'll have to do the math
Supposed
on
to be
that
the middle.
in a second.
Yeah. When you go from Masters to GM, you're not moving up a lot. You're moving up very little. That's just how hard it is.
That is very
The same way that it's very hard to be worse than Bronze 3, but then again, there are people that don't win games in Bronze 3. There have to be people that don't win there.
All right, we're going to be starting down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. Top of the red Protoss player. Give it up for PiLiPiLi. The Bear Me clan, which was originally created by Panda Bear Me, who created the clan and then subsequently left it for Root.
Yeah, he abandoned his clan. Unlike this man in the Northwest, representing Psystorm Gaming. He is epic.
I just really quickly want to point out the timing of these workers barely missing each other for a solid 20 or so seconds as they're moving across the map.
It's misconnection right there.
Peely looking around for proxies. If he saw that SCV, usually that's a good reveal, like, okay, it's not a proxy, it's just you're sending your SCV across the map, but now he's going to see it as it pokes his head into the main base, and Peely's just going to go across the map, trying to see what his opponent is up to.
Yep, I like SCV scouting. I think versus Protoss, it's always worth it, because if they don't take that fast expand, you really cannot build the command center on the low ground. It is extremely dangerous, and in this situation, SCV confirms that he's safe, starts the command center, life goes on, everything's Gucci.
Yeah, I mean, we saw exactly that situation in the last game.
Yeah, and
How
that's
it
why
saved Epic.
Yeah, didn't have to worry about saving the command center, didn't have to worry about the SCV being picked off. He was completely in control, and well, we saw Pili make that very weird call to just cancel his half-completed third base and restart it immediately, which did not do him any favors.
Well, Probe did manage to circumvent the Reaper for a little bit. The Reaper comes back home, though, to pick off that Probe. Buys Peely a little bit of time where he can get up that Stargate and not have to worry about the Reaper just jumping in and immediately scouting that out, since this is a place that you can try and jump up into the main base. Adept can start to ward back the Reaper once it starts popping on in. I like that Peely is already kind of shading back this Adept, getting ready to move back in the main base if he needs to.
Yeah, keeping his options open. And there we go. The Reaper slips into the main base, throws the grenade. This map, by the way, really nice for this sort of Reaper harass. You can really get a lot done with that cliff. It's one of the few maps we have that really gives the Reaper this much space. He thought that was one. All right.
I want to cue back to that little cheeky comment he passed off to
Forget
Scarlet.
the Roddy wall. It's all about the Pili wall now, right? Pili wall stock just went way, way up.
Well, I mean, to be honest, this wall is what he wanted versus Scarlet because it only had one gap at least.
Yeah, well, and tragically, he cannot just build assimilators in the middle of the field.
Unfortunately.
If only.
Helion's going to run by, and the Adepts are a bit late to react. There is another Adept popping on out, and the Oracle...
Wow, getting him to use the Oracle energy on the Hellion is really nice, though. You've guaranteed yourself a ton of time saved there, because by the time the Oracle gets to his base, it wouldn't really have enough energy to kill much. Especially since it takes 3 hits to kill an SCV.
Yep. For those who don't know, it also takes 25 energy to activate the Pulsar Beam in the first place. So
you don't get to turn your laser beams on for free.
Yeah, does cost something.
No.
Unless you're a Void Ray. Then you get laser beams all day.
That's true. Yeah. Well, then you also kind of just bad in general. So that's also the trade-off.
Mono Battles would like to disagree with you. No.
Do they know?
Void Rays are pretty solid.
Void Rays had a little comeback. They got a little bit of their speed in melt mode back. And with the Tempest nerf and the Carrier nerf, Void Rays they might be all the rage in 4v4s again. I haven't done a 4v4 in a while, but Void Rays might finally be back in 4v4.
It's hard for me to tell because I don't know if I'm facing a really good player in 4v4 or if
because everybody builds Void Rays, good and bad.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, you're making a lot of Void Rays. Are you doing this because you know that you can get away with it, or because you're just doing this every game?
PiLiPiLi's bringing a pretty interesting attack. He's got 3 oracles. He's warping in 3 stalkers. He's got a good few adepts. This just looks like a very weird looking attack he's about to bring over here.
There's still a bunker here for Epic, but there's not that much besides that, and the Raven and the Marine. This is what I talk about when I say.
Really quick fun fact: did you know that if you use the interference matrix on an oracle that has the weapon on, it can't turn the weapon off? It can't attack or turn the weapon off, and it still burns energy. Okay, now the attack's coming. There we go. Auto turrets. Oracles spending their energy shooting the auto turrets, and then the SCVs repairing the bunkers, still getting more and more damage. And with the wall off, of course, Cyclone able to get the lock on from the main base, helping to push back the Oracle. Bunker still standing strong. 3 SCVs been picked off. Didn't even get the SCV building in the 3rd command center, so he's going to be able to continue to finish that. Cyclone's going to be able to come back, get the lock on again on the Oracle, and the Stalkers and the Adepts are stuck outside of the natural. Great hold by Epic.
Yeah, to summarize that, PiLiPiLi did not break that hold, and he doesn't have a follow-up. This wasn't all in.
Yep, it's basically like one of those reposted videos of the golden retriever with the egg in its mouth. It's like, did not shatter it.
Oh, gets the Raven.
Very gently held it in its jaws, and there you go.
So from here, PiLiPiLi effectively, he's going to go for his 3rd base. He's going to get up at Twilight, but realistically, PiLiPiLi is just hoping that Epic is really afraid for the next 2 minutes to 3 minutes, and then he can do something else cheeky before Epic catches him.
Yeah, he'd really like to get the Cyclone, but it's just, what are you going to do when there's a bunker here? He doesn't have Blink, he doesn't have Charge, he doesn't have a Warp Prism, he doesn't have a Mothership to recall into the main base. He's pretty limited. I'd like to see a missile turret in this mineral line. Good bait, though. He puts the Phoenix forward so that the Cyclone's AI will target it instead of the Oracle.
Yep. Stalker is going to get a Blink, which I guess is one of the ways he could maybe try and catch Epic off guard. Because as you were saying, this is a great Reaper map, and anything that's a great Reaper map is a fantastic Blink Stalker map.
Yes, but that's not always conversely true, because cliffs you can't jump up, you can still blink up usually.
Yeah, Reapers don't really have the ledge hopping skills that
I would
do.
I would pay for that. Get that upgrade, the co-op upgrade, the Han and Horner Reapers. Let them fly for like 2 seconds so that they can go over those cliffs. Make that a tier 3 upgrade. Come on. What's the worst that can happen?
Well, the battle cruisers are trying to chase down these Reapers, but they were able to fly away.
Sounds a lot cooler than what we've got now.
You know what I really wouldn't mind? If the Reapers started doing more damage to buildings again. Maybe that would bring back like the 5 or 10 Reaper run by the 200 supply mark or something.
That could do it. The Oracles are going back. We got a lot of Stalkers on the map. +1 and Blink about to finish, by the way. With Revelation, being able to keep track of this army, extremely important as he tries to make his way over towards that 3rd base.
Retags him, and most importantly, gets all of the Widow Mines of that 2nd tag. That's going to help out a lot. But now, no more energy, or I guess enough energy for just one stasis trap if he wants to try and throw one down. Here we go. Actually going to be able to jump on this army before it's all pushed together. The Widow Mines burrow.
Really good Guardian Shield, but there's not really a lot of meat in front of the Stalkers. The Widow Mines are continuing to barrel forward, and once they solidify that position, it's going to be extremely hard to wedge the Terran out of the 3rd base, especially once he gets up this ramp with the mines to provide vision there.
Yeah, it's a slow reinforcement train over here from Epic, and ooh, gets the Oracle with one of the Widow Mines.
It looked like he was trying to use the Oracle to drag the mine shot over the bio, which he failed at.
Yeah, there's not that many Marines in the army either, so it's mostly Marauders. I don't know if it would have done a whole lot anyways.
Marauders are good units.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to do quite well versus these Stalkers, quite well versus a bunch of buildings that don't attack, and quite well versus PiLiPiLi.
GG. Epic takes it 2-0 in a stunning fashion against PiLiPiLi, eliminating him. And Epic will get another chance to die another day. Well, it would still be today if he died, but maybe he could die another day. You never know.
This is true. He has a chance to die in a later group stage. It's
Which
just
could
a chance.
be on another
It's just
day.
a chance, though, guys. We still have to see whether it's going to happen.
You might still die today. Decider match and all that.
Get a face-off versus the loser of the next match is going to be coming on up. It's going to be the winner's match with both Scarlet as well as Expect. That's going to be an interesting ZVT. Scarlet we saw play very cheesy in that first series versus PiLiPiLi. I don't actually know if she's playing super cheesy in Zerg versus Terran right now. I wouldn't doubt it if she was, but I haven't actually seen too many of her Zerg versus Terrans lately.
I'm sure we'll have Ling Bane all-ins every game, and she'll probably win 2-0 in 14 minutes.
Maybe. Well, that's the prediction for Nathanius. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you guys in just a little bit with more of the WCS winter stuff or Americas, because we got a lot of awesome StarCraft happening in just a little bit's time. I actually want to hear your predictions really quickly before we jump to that break. Who do you? I know you clearly do think that Scarlet's gonna beat Expect. You've already kind of voiced that opinion. Who do you think would win if that happens of Expect versus Epic in a rematch? Because you were a Terran player.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even despite the group curse.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was that
ugly. Yeah. I know you're trying to get better feedback out of me. If you need to stall, I have another great fact for you.
Okay.
Do you know the reason why they actually nerfed the carrier was not because it was too powerful in 1v1, but because there were so many carriers being built in team games, it was hurting system performance for users. So by building Void Rays, it's actually less frame rate intensive than doing the AI for 10,000 interceptors when all 8 players max out on carriers.
That is fascinating.
There you go.
Actually,
some requirements of the game went down when they nerfed the carrier.
Oh, all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys in a little bit with that winners match for Group B.